perspective. It's all a matter of what we see, hear, and experience. My point of view, you're an asshole.
And being an asshole is a matter of perspective.
This season on Keystone Copycats, Rashomon. Hello and welcome to Keystone Copycats with Chris and Zach. I, of course, am your Zach, and he, of course, your other host,
Jerry the giraffe. I'm friends with Artie the alligator.
Okay.
Yeah. And Gareth the gargantuan. I don't know any other animals.
Gargantuan.
Benny the bear. You didn't like Gary the gargantuan?
No, it's a word you made up.
No, gargantuan's a...
You said gargantuan.
Gorgoth. That's one of my characters from my Mystics game I'm working on. Gorgoth.
Mystics game? You're working on a Mystics game?
He's the perimeter basis of the
what's a
Diamond
Mystics game?
Aruguloth.
Aruguloth?
Yeah.
Okay.
We went to the tasting the other day for the wedding that I'm going to be
you getting married?
I'm going to be in. And your wife was really trying to emphasize that I was saying origami.
What?
Or whatever it's oregano.
Arugula.
And no one cared, and I think she was really disheartened by that because like no one would jump on board with like how stupid.
She wanted someone to roast you with her.
It didn't happen. Yeah, because everyone was like, "Oh, like this is such good food." No, not that. They were all just like food. So like no one was paying attention to her. That said something stupid.
You're like, no arugula because I don't like it and can't say it right.
It tastes like chemicals.
I've never.
It tastes like a soap.
You know what? I don't remember arugula, but like. I feel like I don't like it.
No, it's bad.
It's a little bitter.
Yeah, it tastes like you're being poisoned.
It's one of those things where like you get like it's a spring mix, and then there's like arugula, and you're like, oh, what a bummer. This is gonna ruin my whole salad.
It tastes like when a bee stings you on your tongue.
Like when it flies down your trousers.
When it flies down your crack. That happened. I don't know if we talked about it enough last episode.
We talked about it so much.
But yeah, there's been several debates since then.
Yeah,
and what we've decided
weeks,
is Zach has given up and agreed that it flew down.
I have given up and agreed that it flew up your pants. I gave up and agreed that it could not possibly have flown down your pants. You used your asshole as a honeypot maneuver, and when it came to pollinate you, you trapped it in and thought it would just buzz around and make you feel good all day. But instead, it got its own brand of pointy revenge.
I think the idea of Winnie the Pooh getting a bee stuck in his ear is so cute, like where he whacks his ear a little bit to get it out, and it's like, but really, if a bee went into your brain, you die.
Dude,
right?
So,
that would just be the end of you. Luckily, he's a bear, a very little brain.
So we went to this wedding in Red River Gorge, and we're sitting there, and what we think is a bee flies up. Like
it was actually a bear with very little brain.
No, we look at it, and it looks like someone glued two bees together. Like that's how long it is, and it is the loudest thing I've ever heard. It's just zipping by, just like, I'm like, fuck.
Do you think it was two bees mating?
No, it was like the length of multiple bees.
Do you think they were just making that royal jelly?
No, I don't.
I don't know what royal jelly
so long.
is. I think they eat it.
It's like honey, but it's like more royal, I guess.
It's more expensive.
Well, it's more royal, I'll tell you that.
It's got more jewels in it. Now, you mentioned defeat. I watched a guy get defeated the other day. It was so funny. I was in KOI Auto Parts getting a turn signal or whatever.
Was he mad about the butter?
And there was this guy. They were all very rude, so this is why I was so excited that I saw it. They were just fucking... Imagine you work at a KOI. That's how they are.
Fuck. What a life.
And he was...
Dream of dreams.
He was peeling this arm An orm. He was peeling his orm off.
You know how you peel an orm? Oh, you don't? Never heard of one? Well, I'll tell you a tale.
Gorgoth has an orm. A mystic orm in the realm of Despar.
Oh, no.
So anyway,
Done too much research.
He's peeling this orm. He's peeling this orange, and he keeps, every time he peels it and it doesn't come off, he shows the other guy, like he's like, does it and it comes off in a flake. He's like, like showing that he can't peel an orm.
Orm, you glad I didn't say banana? Is that it?
So finally, he gets about halfway through the orm and just throws it away hard. I mean, like a baseball.
He juiced it. Orm juice.
Like he threw it as hard as you would a baseball into the trash can right in front of him and just turned and walked into the break room. I'm like, that was the best defeat I've ever seen.
Ass.
Number one, he showed everyone, every peel of the orm. He's like, like he couldn't be more. He couldn't fail any harder than he was until his final eruption where he gave up.
You know, I feel like the best reason to like continue this podcast is we need to document more of your stories.
What do you mean?
Like they just need to be, there needs to be a record of,
I couldn't
the life
keep
that you
track of them.
live.
The notes I was writing got too out of control. So it does help that I'm explaining them because the notes I can't even decipher.
Is that how you do it?
Well, that's it. I was so fixated on telling that orm story that I completely forgot about anything else.
Now, could you quickly just tell us what an orm is?
I won't. But I did notice that there's a lot of cows where I live now. And they're all just filthy gross. Like
He lives in a dairy barn.
I don't know if that's what I'm getting at. Like, they're all really gross. But then I saw dairy cows. I'm like, oh, fuck, I forgot, like, what cows look like to people that aren't around them all the time. They're, like, black and white, and they're all clean and shit.
Like a Holstein.
And then the brown ones and the black ones are just filthy. And I don't know what it is about dairy cows that they're like, no. Like, they're like the upper class. They're like, we're not going to walk in the mud.
No, we're going to fuck them. We're going to fuck them and get them pregnant and then juice them.
They're the white ones. They should be the most filthy, and yet they're not. I don't get it.
Huh.
How do dairy cows keep it so clean, Zach?
I didn't know you were like a cow supremacist, that you thought like the white ones deserve to be clean.
Well, they're mixed. They're white-black.
Wow. Just stepping on landmines left and right, aren't you?
But, you know what I'm
Got your
saying?
foot in the
Do you
cow
think
poop.
that if you have a dairy cow, you show it off like a fucking nice, like a Ford or like, I mean, like a good Ford,
here's the
like
thing.
a Mustang. You're like shining it all the time. Like showing off
the
that
truth.
cow.
Here's the truth of dairy cows. Like they do get as filthy as other cows, but the trick is every fourth squirt of milk goes on to them to clean them off. They're milk washed.
So they don't sound, they're not like, or they're like, oh, getting scrub-a-dubbed.
I once heard a dairy cow remark to a farmer, "Juice me, daddy." And I don't know, I thought it was gross, but like, you know, it's their way of life. Just a country mouse, city mouse kind of thing.
I call cow shit on that young man.
Okay, well, she said, "Juiceth me, Papa."
I'm trying to think, like, there was a series of things that happened in a row when I was just running
called
errands.
life.
They were all like right next to each other too. I kept walking into new arrangements where just it's just little things that happen in my day that I'm like, I wish someone was with me because then they would see all this bullshit that's happened to me. Like I went in to get the sizing of the ring for my ring finger.
Sure.
And I went in and they're like, all right, like, what do you wear? I'm like, I don't know. That's why I'm here. They're like, okay, well, you want to guess? I said, don't you have a thing? Like, we don't.
Like, why the fuck would I? You're like 15. How about that?
We don't have to do a little guess. Well, I just didn't know where you wanted to start. I'm like, oh, we don't have so many options.
You're like, I don't know. I'm not the ring man.
I think there's probably like 10. Which you said maybe 12. Even if I start at 1.
You're like, I'll test them all. How about that?
We'll go through it. So that's how it started. So anyway, we got to my size, and she was like, well, you want to try up one? I was like, yeah. I was like, oh, that's a little loose. And she goes, well, in the winter, your handle shrinks, so you can keep that in mind. I said, yeah, that's why I want the smaller one. I go, because it'll shrink. She goes, yeah. I go, in winter. And she goes, if you say so. And I'm just like, You just said that. You just said those words. Why are you playing it off like I'm a fucking moron? So I just kind of look around for backup. No one's ever there for me where I'm like, did I miss this? Did I get this wrong?
Do you ever feel like someone has like put you
Truman
in a
showed
situation? Yeah, in a Truman Show, except that like everyone's just improving, except the one rule that they have is they have to make you look like as much of an asshole as possible. That's the one rule. Yeah, they've got to fuck with you.
Before the guy was peeling the orm, the guy at the guy at the counter was just muttering to himself for a long time. So I walk in, hey brother. That's what I do when I walk in. Hey brother, throw my hand out there.
Sieg Heil.
I'll put my arm out.
It's
like,
wild.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? So I go, hey brother, and he's just muttering. So then I'm just like, oh, I start talking, and he puts his finger up. I was like, oh, my bad. So he just keeps muttering, and I realize he's like trying to remember the codes for the parts, whatever. He's reading through his part book. So then just keeps muttering, and he goes, you gonna come up? And I go, oh, fuck, he's been talking to me the whole time. So I was wrong twice. I went in and said hi, and then he put his finger up, told me to hold, but then was continuously talking to me these codes because then he was annoyed that I didn't come up further.
You're like, I don't know
what you need me to do, codes. Crazy mumbling man.
Do you think he thought you were like some sort of automaton that would be activated by him reading the proper codes? And he's like, well, he's not doing what I told him. I gave him the code to come to the counter, and he didn't. So I don't know what to do. Maybe we best return our fancy new metallic man.
Well, what I think happened is that they'd set up some kind of Acme contraption that was going to fall on my head.
It was you. You're the contraption.
He was signaling like, hey, look up.
Drop it on him. Drop him.
You're going to get hit with this fucking anvil. And as soon as this guy peels his orange,
he's going to drop a fucking
he's going to pull the lever. But luckily, that never happened. He got discouraged.
That was the cue.
I don't know.
And the piano dropper never got his cue because he threw that orm right in the trash barrel.
Yeah, it was just a day of I wish I had a buddy. I wish I had a friend to help me.
It's since we started this podcast, it's like a sad life for you where like you're like, oh, I'm gonna call my friend and tell him about this. Oh, I can't. I'm gonna save it for our show, so I'll tell him about it in a week. But by then, I've forgotten most of the ridiculous shit that's happened to me.
I only know the one guy. That's you.
It's me. It's just me. I'm the guy.
And then Daryl Manichopoulos.
No. Talking about Mr. Miano?
I was driving my newest mom around, and then every time I just start waving at people, and she goes, "Who that?" I just kept making up names, and for a while she bought into it. Like because I was out my window, I'd be like, "Ah, David!" Like, so I'm just a nuisance to her because I had nothing to do. I was stuck with her.
So. She's won me and my wife over through the simple action of complimenting how advanced our daughter is.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, that's it. You've won.
I thought you were going to say about the pizza. You made
No, she loved that too. She loved my pizza.
I ate it days later. I found it in a pot in one of the refrigerators that has soda in it.
I left it for her.
She's super weird. There's all these fridges in the bait shop. So there's all this soda, and then sometimes she just
he said bait shop, which he lives above.
Yeah.
He lives above a bait shop. So, he's a sitcom character.
So there's random condiments in one of them. Like she just puts her stuff in.
He lives there with his Latvian cousin.
It's just confusing. So at one point there was a pot, and I was like, well, I'm hungry. So I just opened it. This was fucking 5 days after you had left. And there was just one slice of pizza. And I was like, oh, pizza pot.
She was cherishing it.
Well, I ate it.
She was all about that pizza.
Pot.
But I did like that you told her that I like had a side business selling pizza because I've talked about doing that. But it's
not what I said.
What it did was like it made it so she like the very first thing she said was, "Oh, so where do you sell this pizza?" And I was like, "Oh, it must be pretty good if she thinks I'm selling it somewhere." It was like a great compliment, and then I was like, "Oh no, it's just a misunderstanding."
Oh, yeah, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
I set you up. You're gonna sell your first pie.
I was gonna sell them at the bait shop.
Yeah, you just live there.
Come on down.
You live there and work with me now.
Yeah, 1 day a week at the bait shop.
There's a full kitchen down there. You could totally just run a restaurant in that place.
Maybe I will do that. Maybe I'll come down there 1 day a week.
The worst part about living at that property is there's so much fucking potential that they're just like, yeah, we got one. Yeah.
Oh, piss it away.
What's up? They just don't use anything on that property. They're like, yeah, we got one. 7 tractors. What do you need?
They're like, you need a Saturn V rocket? We got one. What?
It's fucking confusing.
And And then your fiance's like, well, I did a project in high school. And you're like, fuck.
Yeah, there's like a
Saturn V rocket.
Yeah, next door there's like a smelting area.
Yeah.
Where they do, and then there's like concrete pour area and the kiln, and you're just like, what happened down here?
I was told there was
there's an office in the back.
There was a recording studio.
Yeah, there's a recording studio. There's a
we record in my basement.
There's a store office. Like you walk in, you're like, oh, it's just an office. No one's here. It's someone abandoned ship.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's that Chernobyl.
There's like rotten fruit in a bowl on a desk. You're like, well. Okay,
here we are.
I had to leave quick, I guess. Couldn't take the fruit.
Oh, so I have to read this to you.
Okay, it's a poem.
Yeah,
he's gonna recite it to me.
It kind of is. So I don't really want to explain why. I ended up watching the miniseries Jesus of Nazareth.
Oh, you suck.
On Prime. That's a good fucking movie. There's some big names in there that I had completely forgot about.
Dom DeLuise.
But there's a moment where Joseph is telling his son, Jesus, about climbing a ladder because the ladder can touch the heavens. This is where Jesus climbs the ladder in defiance.
Sees his real dad.
His real dad.
He said, you're not my real dad, Joseph. I'm going to climb this ladder to see my real dad.
The cutaway to distract Joseph is the best transition I've ever heard. Off screen, they just need Joseph to leave so Jesus can climb the ladder. Someone goes, Joseph, I thought this is verbatim. Joseph, I thought the plow was supposed to be ready. This is not ready. You said it would be ready today, and it is not. No, this is not right. Jesus is climbing the ladder. This is very different than what I wanted. This is not done the way I wanted at all.
I wanted it ready.
This is different. I swear to God, this is what it was saying. I wrote it down. Then they showed them all standing in a circle. No fucking plow, by the way. They were in the background and I guess didn't know they were being filmed. The guys are all just talking to each other in a circle. And then it fades out after the big climax of he sees the heavens and God. And the guy goes, the balance is wrong.
As like people who have like worked in like a small level on sets shooting stuff, there is always that guy that's like, oh no, you can't even see that. You're like, what about this open door with like a big light in it? They're like, no, you can't see that.
It was a high, wide shot where Jesus is looking up and you're like, you can see him in the background, like, well, there's Joseph and that guy. There's no fucking plow that this dude
It wasn't ready.
That's it. He's got a great point. There's no plow. It's not balanced.
Someone on that set said, do we need a plow here, like so they can see? Like, are we going to be in the shot with the plow? Do we need to have the? No. We're framing it out. You won't be there. You won't be there. And then it's bam, right where the plow should be.
I love that they forgot. They're like, oh shit, we never wrote why you walk away. Get one of the extras to do some shit. Just do some shit.
Hey, Joseph. I thought you said my plow would be ready. This plow isn't ready. Is it my plow? If it's my plow, it was supposed to be ready, and it's not ready.
Every time he would say something, he would double down. This isn't ready. This isn't ready at all. You said it'd be ready. It is not ready.
It's like a
children's book.
It's like learning English from a foreign language.
But the end,
Joseph said, my plow would be ready today.
No one gave that.
I need it for work tomorrow in my field. It is not ready, Joseph.
They're getting the B-roll of Jesus looking at his dad, and no one told that extra.
God?
No one told that extra cut. Because at the end, you hear muffled, it's not even balanced. Like, what? Like,
no, that's an editor's choice. They're like, we need to button up that plow not being ready through line to really, like, sell this.
No, yeah, they're like, how much better is God Dad than mortal dad? Well, he can't even balance the plow. Throw it in at the end.
If you need to find someone to balance your plow, you'll need these few key phrases.
So, yeah,
we gotta make a learning English tape sometime.
It was one of those moments where my ADD was so bad I had started 7 movies and then they didn't last 3 minutes before. One led to another, led to another, led to another, until I found like, oh, what about Jesus of Nazareth? I haven't seen that.
Was the first one The Rock?
First one was the Holy Grail. Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
So you were in a zone. You were in a zone. I remember. I love my favorite scene in Holy Grail is the one where Joseph doesn't balance the plow right.
No, because then Meaning of Life, then Life of Brian. So yeah, naturally transitioned to Jesus of Nazareth. Now I gotta say, that's a good fucking movie for multiple reasons. That miniseries. Now,
great
it's
background actor work.
Good fictional story, but no, there actually is a lot of names in there, like the bad guy from American History X. I forgot he was Barabbas.
Say, your tropes aren't ready. You said they'd be ready for this episode, but they're not ready at all. You haven't done the tropes. It's an empty sheet of paper.
I'm going to record that.
You didn't even write them.
I'm going to record it and play it on this episode.
It's not going to be as good. You know it's not going to be as good.
No, it really is. Because I was like, he just keeps going with this bullshit. Like, we got it. He fucked up, dude. Quit burying Joseph. Are you looking it up?
I'm looking it up.
Oh, dude, it's like a 5-hour movie. Like, it's going to be a minute. I want to say it was about an hour and 15 in. You just want to play it now?
All right, let's see.
Oh, he's doing it.
This is all different stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot to the story. It's not just like people aren't worshiping the guy that critiqued Joseph's work. It's a long tale about.
Is it from 1977?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a long tale about a Jewish man's suicide mission.
Hang on.
Oh, no, it's intense music. Yeah, play it.
Hang on. You said it was like an hour and 15 in?
Yeah. Oh, are you really going to do this now?
Oh, it's there. I'm seeing it.
Yeah, do you see it? Play it.
Hang
on. You got to get.
Hang on.
You got to get just before he
finding new uses.
That's it.
Sometimes.
Oh, he's climbing the ladder. Hang on.
Wonderful uses for it. A wheel? A plow? A ladder? They all look simple, but they are from God. And a ladder
can
sometimes reach from earth to heaven.
Joseph! Joseph, didn't you say the plow would be ready?
Coming!
Hang on.
Oh, there's a
Keep
plow.
on with your work.
No.
He's walking away with
What
it.
is this?
Wait for the
Well,
line.
look at it. What have you done? This is not how I asked you to make it. Oh, no. It's not the same as before. It was supposed to be ready days ago, and now it is not right.
Hang on, the music's too loud. He goes on.
My son.
It's too piercing.
The balance is wrong.
The balance is wrong. Dude, he shit all over that plow.
It was supposed to be ready days ago, but now it's not ready today. That movie's not good. Fuck you.
What are you talking about?
That's a bad movie.
That's fucking gold. Wait till Herod the Great comes in.
No, I closed the window.
But
There's some good Googling.
the reason I saved this particular story for this one is because Christopher Plummer plays Herod. And I didn't realize that Christopher Plummer was the old guy in Knives Out.
Oh, yeah. We talked about it a lot.
So I forgot that he was in Jesus of Nazareth. And I didn't realize that his daughter is in the opening of Pulp Fiction. Like the woman at the counter or
really?
Or the honey bunny?
Honey Bunny?
That's his daughter. I had no idea.
Look, if any of you fucking pricks move, I'm going to execute every motherfucking last one
I
of you.
do not like her. She is
She's abrasive.
Yeah. Very annoying. But it wasn't right.
I agree.
It wasn't right at all. I'm glad that you
Joseph.
you turned on that ear-piercing music where everyone just probably turned off the episode. That's how violently loud that was.
number one, It's not in the episode. It hasn't been recorded.
What?
I'm gonna have to do more work later now because of you. And this.
What do you mean because of me? You chose to do. You didn't think I was telling the truth
Because of you.
but the balance was not right.
The balance isn't right.
He's shitting on him, dude. This is a big moment for Jesus, and that guy won't shut the fuck up.
Well, here's the thing. Like, it is a big moment for Jesus, but it's also like Joseph is just like a fucking shoddy craftsman. You know?
Well, he's not perfect. He's not
He
God.
sucks. Yeah. He'll never live up to Jesus' real dad. In that movie, Jesus, like, okay, Joseph is like, looks like an Arabic man. He's got like dark, like black kind of curly hair, a beard. Like,
I'm going to ruin this for you, but keep going.
okay. And Jesus is like the most blonde kid I've ever seen in my life.
We know that he's the good guy because John the Baptist, the other blue-eyed blonde guy, tells all the other guys, "Hey, listen, you got to be aware that the Messiah is coming." Okay,
Oh, Blondie.
looks just like me, not like you guys at all.
Looks like
you're
me.
gonna know him. Now, heed my word.
God's son
because-
looks like me. That's what he keeps saying.
This is the new way, guys. Oh, it's very
He's
deliberately
like, but if you need a plow done, don't go to his dad. He sucks.
Now, the Jesus is, his eyes are incredibly awkward. Like, they're very, very piercingly stone blue to the point that you're like, why did you cast him? Like, it's violently Aryan. Like, it's not.
Yeah, it's like
it's on the nose.
it's like an attack on like, the people.
The casting in this movie is really good, except for that. Except
Well, no, everyone knows Jesus is blonde. He's a tiny little
when he grows
yellow-haired
up,
boy.
when he grows up, he loses the blonde. He's just brunette.
He's just a very white man.
Yeah. Well, he has to stand out, or else no one's gonna notice.
Oh
he's the
yeah. Oh,
son. You gotta.
of course. Of course, God sent his white son to the Middle East and was like, "That's the guy."
Listen. If you had 12 guys, I'm sorry, 13
A jury,
guys
okay.
that all look the same, you're like, I don't know which one to follow. But you throw in the white guy,
JC.
boom, following him. I know, because he's different.
Oof.
Well, it'd be the same thing if you threw it in a giraffe. Like, you got 12 guys and a giraffe.
You're right.
The
You're right.
giraffe.
A white guy is a lot like a giraffe. People look at him and are like, "What the fuck is the point of that thing?"
because they look up to it.
Nope. Nope.
You did this.
Nope.
This was your choosing, sir. You said,
The
hey,
plow
let's
isn't
talk-
balanced.
No.
No, this isn't right at all. You said it would be ready 3 days ago, but it's not even ready today. It's not ready at all today. Or 3 days ago when you said it would be.
God damn it. We're even going to do the episode.
I have 2 pages of
been
notes.
have you
I have
been
2
recording
fucking
this?
pages of notes.
Oh, my God.
And
all
more work to do on
I
this
think-
episode now.
I
You
think-
made me do work. How dare you?
I think they'd appreciate if we actually moved on from this stupid movie that I watched. The theme song will get stuck in your head, by the way. Just so you know.
All right.
All right.
So, what are we doing today? Talking about a movie?
Yeah, Jesus of Nazareth, 1977, starring white Jesus.
White Child.
as the Jesus.
We're talking about a little movie called Pulp Fiction from 1994, directed by Quentin Tarantino and starring John Travolta, Uma Thurman, Samuel L. Jackson, Bruce Willis, Tim Roth, Ving Rhames, Harvey Keitel, Christopher Walken, Eric Stoltz, Phil Lamar. Jesus, everyone is in this movie.
Yeah, that's right.
You want to give us a little synopsis?
I got one just for you. This movie happened the same year Forrest Gump won an Oscar.
One more than one Oscar. How does... Okay, let me ask you this.
We've talked about this multiple times on the show, right? About how angry you are.
You've seen Forrest Gump, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Shawshank, because I know we're going to
No. I don't give a fuck about Shawshank.
And Ace Ventura.
No. Listen. Is Tom Hanks' performance as Forrest Gump remotely close to as good as Samuel L. Jackson as Jules?
It can't be comparable.
Right.
One's a giraffe and one's Samuel L. Jackson.
One's a great performance and the other one is
First off,
Forrest Gump.
Tom, you're wrong. You're never going to get me on board that Tom Hanks doesn't do a great job as Forrest Gump. His portrayal is immaculate.
It's immaculate. Oh, the fuck is wrong
Are you
with
ready
you?
to put the movie back on? I thought you were gonna click the movie back
Oh,
on.
you know what? His performance isn't ready.
What?
It's not even balanced.
What are you
It's
talking
not ready at
about?
all. It's like a plow. It hasn't been balanced. It was supposed to be ready 3 days ago. But you cannot sit there and tell me that like Tom Hanks is a better performance than Samuel L.
This is
Jackson.
balanced. It's not a balanced argument.
It's not
It
better.
wasn't balanced days ago.
It's like there's an argument for like it being better than Travolta, but not Jackson. He's so fucking good in this movie.
Well,
He drives the plot.
You know what though? I like Travolta's performance just as much as I do Jackson.
Well, they fucked Jackson because they put him in
and-
supporting.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah,
Who's?
he got nominated for supporting.
Oh, then who is the?
Travolta got nominated in
Oh,
lead.
that's not right.
That's not right.
That's not right.
I mean, Travolta's great
No,
in this
here's
movie.
the thing. I think they're just all supporting.
It's an ensemble
think-
cast, but if anyone's gonna get a lead nomination, it's Sam Jackson. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't. What? Just because of the film time?
No, just because his impact because it's his story.
I get no.
It's his arc.
Kind of.
It's his arc, the realization, coming through everything, figuring out the miracle that happens that turns him from the life of like being a hitman
Oh, I thought you were
to
talking
like
about Travolta.
No, I'm talking about Jackson. It's his story, even though like Travolta has like he's in other segments.
No, I
like,
thought you were
it's-
trying to say it's Travolta's
no,
story. I'm like,
it's
not
Jackson's.
really.
It's Jackson's story for sure.
But no, I wouldn't say they're all different. I wouldn't say any of them are better. I like all of their performances, but I do like Vincent more than Jules because I think he's silly. I love that he's a fuck up, and there is a fan theory that he's actually on his last leg, like as in if Bruce Willis hadn't have killed him, then Marcellus would have killed him anyway for that
For fucking up.
Yeah, I mean, have you heard this? Because, well, hang on, I wrote them down. All Vincent's fucked up. So, number one, he's in Amsterdam for a various reason. We don't
3
know
years,
why.
yeah.
We assume that he fucked up and it was just hiding out there for whatever reason.
Yeah.
He's a drug addict. He shoots Marvin by accident.
Yeah.
He accidentally lets Mia OD. He thinks about
But he doesn't find out about that, right?
Yeah, but under his watch, when
Yeah.
he's the only one supposed to be watching her,
Yeah.
she ODs. He thinks he contemplates cheating with her and almost does, which
Yeah.
is a big fuck
Yeah.
up. He's given the easy task of watching Bruce Willis' apartment. Of all the things that they're being done, most likely what's going to happen is Bruce Willis is not going to come back to his apartment.
Right.
So they just have a
so
guy
he gives
there.
him a cakewalk
Yeah, exactly. Which then he fucks up on.
because he leaves his gun sitting on the kitchen counter.
He also misses the one threat in the apartment. He doesn't check the other room to see if there's a guy in there. That
Yeah,
might
and
be-
he's the guy who should have been sweeping the apartment for
and
Jules.
and he doesn't. He rolls a joint instead. So yeah, there's all these theories that Marcellus, if that would happen, Marcellus would have just fucking killed him because he's just the problem.
That's interesting.
So yeah, either way,
I like it.
if Willis didn't, then he was going to. It's like
So
on his last leg.
isn't Vincent Vega
Tied in.
related to someone from Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah,
I don't remember who.
the Mr. Blonde.
I haven't seen Reservoir Dogs in a long time. Is Blonde
Same last name. I don't know if they're
is
cousins.
that Tim
or what.
Roth?
No, Mr. Blonde.
Can't remember who's
is-
who.
I always forget his name. He's from Kill Bill. He's the brother in Kill Bill.
Oh, yeah. Michael Madsen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. That
I
makes
want to
sense.
say cousin.
I think they're
Am I-
brothers.
No, I think it's brothers.
I think they're brothers. The Vega brothers.
So there's that.
I think it's interesting that Tarantino was building out his like little universe, like even from the beginning.
I just found out last night that the beginning of Hateful Eight, which you love so much,
Ugh, what a
the
bad movie.
opening was shot with Django. It was supposed to be Django. He changed the character because he couldn't get the feel right because it
Really?
would have. He wanted some mystique behind it of if you should trust Samuel L. Jackson's character. So he realized this was not supposed to be a Django story. So they actually shot opening
That's interesting.
sequences of Django boarding the thing. But he said the mystique would have been taken away
Yeah.
of like who's who and the conundrum.
Oh, that's interesting.
So yeah, I had no idea that was actually gonna be Django too. It's supposed to be Django and White Hell.
Huh.
So interesting.
That is cool.
But I recently watched, before we decided about Pulp Fiction, I watched Hateful Eight again. It's the second time I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I've only seen it
It's
once.
not as bad as I remember.
It's just interminable. It's just long and uncomfortable.
It really, I know, but that's what gives it character. I really dislike the whole, when he's trying to get the general, when Samuel L. Jackson is trying to get the general to shoot him, so he says that he tricked his son into blowing him.
Yeah.
I don't like how descriptive
No,
he is.
it's awful.
And he says words like, and he sucked my black dingus, and you're like, no, like this
does not
is
fit.
taking me out
It's anachronistic.
of the period piece.
Exactly. Like that's how I felt too. It was just too much.
It's
and it
not
was too,
like we saw what he was trying to do. I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Because that kind of fits, but it was literally the verbiage he was using that I didn't buy.
I think Tarantino early on relied so heavily on the quippy pop culture dialogue and like 70s references and shit like that. I think there were so many references, and that to take him out of that. So it works in Inglourious Bastards because it's so over the top, and it's so like there's so much to talk about. There's so many like great monologues and interesting stuff. Django, I think, suffers a little. It's not as good as Inglourious Bastards. And then like by the time he gets to Hateful Eight, he's really struggling, I think, with the dialogue, and I think he's just trying to go over the top. And some of the stuff he writes is, like you said, it just takes you out of the period.
Yeah, Eric the English or whatever his name was way too big. Like Tim Roth's character was way too big and distracting. I'm like, I don't believe that he would be in the group.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he would. I don't think he fits in. He's way too big. He would be a mark all the time.
Yeah.
Like being in that group, like they would hate him.
Yeah, there's 3 Tarantino movies that I've only seen once, and 2 of the 3 are because I didn't think they were very good and won't watch them again.
I think
you
should watch Hateful Eight one more time.
It's just so fucking long, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so it's Hateful Eight, Death Proof.
I've never seen it. Never saw Jackie Brown.
It's whatever.
Either.
And Jackie Brown is the 3rd one. But some people say Jackie Brown is his best movie, and I thought Jackie Brown was really good, but I've only seen it once.
Mm-hmm.
And I would watch it. I'd like to watch it again to kind of maybe see what people see in it, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's the one that's based on a novel. It's not like an original Tarantino. So it's like story-wise, it's, you know, it's an Elmore Leonard. He wrote these like mystery, like, or, you know, kind of crime books.
Mm-hmm.
There was a sequel to it later. There was like a sequel to the book that someone made a movie out of where like different people played the same characters like many years later. I think Jennifer Aniston was in it.
Huh.
It was okay. I saw it. I can't remember what it was called.
I find myself watching Django and Pulp Fiction the most.
Yeah,
Django's not my favorite.
I've only seen Django
However,
twice, 2 or 3 times maybe.
Yeah, Reservoir is still my favorite.
It's tough. Mine was always between like Inglourious Bastards.
I watched
and
the opening to
Pulp
Inglourious
Fiction.
Bastards a lot, and then I turned it off.
Dude, that opening's incredible.
Yep.
So
suspenseful.
But
I
I don't know, man. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is up there now.
I've only seen it once. It
Same.
didn't blow me away. I
Seeing
know
it on that big
I know
screen
You
made
are
such a.
cranking off over it.
I mean, I only saw it once. It's, you know,
But speaking of
cranking off.
cranking off,
Oh, thank God.
I watched this. We have a high-res TV, and I've not seen Pulp Fiction on a high-res TV.
Oh, really?
It's fucking phenomenal. Because
It looks
I'm
great.
used to the shitty, grainy kind, so I've not seen it like this before.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm really paying attention to how
The lighting,
how
the
low the
cinematography.
shot is in that opening cafe scene. Like,
Yeah.
they do
It's
like
cool.
they
It's
do
below the
height.
table
Yeah.
and like, yeah, looking up at him. You see the sky behind him through the big windows.
Yeah, it's interesting. I hadn't noticed it before.
Yeah, it's
but
a beautifully composed, like as far as like shots.
And even though they're talking about the heist and bank robbery, you still don't see it coming. That was the big shock in the opening scene.
Yeah.
The very memorable soundtrack that plays, especially that opening song.
Misery Lou.
It's not Wipe. Yeah. I always want to say Wipeout.
But it's surf rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that long take, and I think I was on the phone with you maybe when I first
We talked
noticed
about this.
how long it's like a 13-minute straight shot of Vincent and Jules, and you're like, Jesus. And it's not even just the acting or the sound or the lighting, it's the camera movement.
It's
You're like-
everything, yeah.
You're just imagining the cameraman move, and you're like, how stressful would that be? They must have rented out that whole apartment complex for days.
Yeah. Well,
make sure that
and
they
the
can
thing
get
about it
this.
is like you don't notice like a good like one take shot, like a good like long shot is like there's like diversity in the look, but it doesn't like you don't notice that it's going on long. If someone asked you if there were edits in there, you'd be like, oh, of course, and then you'd look at it again and be like, oh shit, man, like wow, like because you don't notice it because it's so good and captivating, and like the visual language of the film is so
I really just stare at that scene now because it's just such like little odd choices. Like Vincent, I never noticed how he walks, but when Jules gets a little annoyed, says, "Let's hang back for a second. It's not, it's 7:22."
And they walk away.
And they walk away. Vincent has one hand like in his pocket and one behind his back, and you're so like, I wonder if he did that every single time, or if that was a particular choice, and that just happened to be what Tarantino liked about it. But you're like, this is so weird. It's such weird behavior. Just the way he was walking, I'm like, that's weird that made the final take.
Yeah. So there is like there is something I noticed, and especially like specifically about that scene, and it's part of like what we talked about before. But I love the way that like Tarantino isn't afraid to like tell the story in wide shots. He doesn't have to go in close. He doesn't like a less confident filmmaker has to go in for close-ups on this dialogue, on this conversation. But like that, and very specifically that part that you talk about where they say, not yet, and they walk down the hall, the camera stays in front of that door and just looks down the hall, and they're, I don't know, 20 feet away.
The audio remains exactly the same.
Yep.
I was waiting for
it. The presence of it is incredible. And like just the way that like he's confident enough in the story and in what he's doing to let it linger in that long shot and not have to punch in and not get insecure and have to like, we need to see their faces. We need to know what's going on. No, you can sit in that and build the tension, and like it's just so well crafted.
Yeah, it's a lot of pre-construction and just and knowing exactly what you want to get out of it before
for sure.
See it.
Yeah, pre-production man. There had to be some incredible pre-production on this. Like everything's so well thought out and everything.
Do you know Danny DeVito was a producer?
Oh, that's not
executive producer.
That's not surprising, because I know he was into that type of that type of movie. You know,
I guess it makes sense. He has producer credits under his belt at this time.
Yeah,
I just didn't realize
he had also directed by that point. He had directed.
Did he direct Matilda?
He directed Matilda. He directed Throw Mama from the Train. He directed War of the Roses.
Matilda 2.
Throw Mama from the Train.
Matilda from the Train.
Throw Mama from the Train is a comedic remake of Strangers on a Train with him and Billy Crystal, and it's so fucking good.
Not saying it. I don't like movies very much. I don't watch them.
I saw that on TV as a kid, and I loved it.
I don't be a kid much.
I don't be a kid much. All right, Mario. All right, Mr. Miano. So I want to...
I'm Christopher Plummer's son, Christopher Plummer.
So we had a conversation recently.
Because my name's Chris, you see.
And
sex.
I've got to apologize to you.
Oh, thank you.
Because you were right.
About what?
The bartender's name is Paul.
Is it really?
When I was looking through the cast, he's credited as Paul. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But what's funny though,
it would be such a dick move if he just said, my name is Paul, and between y'all, if his name wasn't Paul. It's just shitty and dismissive.
No. Because Samuel L. Jackson in the apartment.
My name is Pitt.
And I'm not all about this shit or whatever. Yeah, which is not his name.
Yeah, he's a liar.
So it was just following that rhyme pattern, that like, and so it's funny that it's like, oh, his name is Paul? All right.
I never noticed that was a rhyme. My name is Pitt. And you ain't talking yourself out of this shit.
Yeah. It's the same structure.
I never noticed that was a rhyme.
Yeah, it's funny. So one of the things
your name's Zach, and you got my back.
I don't.
And my name's Chris, and I'm not down for this. Shit.
So, what do you think? So we talked about the opening scene, which
briefly a little bit,
which I think is incredible. I love the opening scene. It grabs your attention. It's wild. It's fucking. It's this. It becomes this like Tarantino signature where it's this kind of sort of banal conversation. They're just going back and forth, and then something big happens, and they jump up on the table. Everybody be cool. This is a robbery, all that stuff. And like that scene does not work if the movie is not cut out of order. If that doesn't open the movie, that scene is useless. The whole drawn out conversation of it doesn't have the impact It opens, it lulls you into this false sense of security, and then boom, it springs a trap on you where you're like, oh shit, something crazy's happening, and then cut away. And we don't get back to that for 2 hours. But then 2 hours later, we finish out the rest of that storyline.
Yeah, I think it would still work to a degree as long as we don't know that Jules and Pitt are there.
You have to cut. Pitt is Jules, number one.
Yeah, but
Vincent.
He's got personalities out the wazoo.
Well, no, but I think seeing them pop, I think they cut to them and see them pop up and do the, everybody be cool as a robbery the same way they do it later in the movie.
Oh,
but you lose the opening, conversation lead up to it.
You take that beginning out. You do the whole end sequence, but you never show Tim Roth's face, so you don't know who it is. And then as like a spoiler for more Marvel madness later.
Ooh, put it as a post-credit.
Yeah, and then you do the opening then. And
that's
then
a terrible.
Oh, who was
a terrible
that?
idea.
That was them the whole time.
Do you think it's weird that they're eating burgers at before 8 a.m.?
No, I think they're fucking drug dealers.
But do you think it's weird
No,
that they
not at all.
were able to go
not at
get
all.
burgers
I think
that
it's
early?
so weird that they're at the door. What time is it? 7:22. Let's hold back, and you're not like, hello, is someone out there? Especially if you just fucked over
Joseph.
Especially if you just fucked over someone from the mob, and then you're just chilling, eating hamburgers. Fuck it. No.
Where did they get those hamburgers that early? Are they from last night? They didn't look like it. They looked fresh.
Yeah, they're very fresh. That's the Hawaiian burger.
Who opens that early?
Fresh.
Big Kahuna burger?
Big Kahuna burgers open all the time. They do breakfast sandwiches. And
breakfast burgers.
Yeah. But
you want to open a shop called Breakfast Burgers?
Yeah, I do.
I bet you do. Yes, continue.
No.
You were saying?
You continue. Because I don't know what I was going to say, Zach.
So I think it's especially...
The best part is, you got my back.
I think it's especially interesting to look at a Tarantino movie through the lens of a past movie, considering the way that he draws from so many others for inspiration, I think the way that we do this show, looking at movies compared to a specific movie, obviously we're looking at it compared to Rashomon. I think it's really cool to do because so much of what he does draws from the past. It's the 70s exploitation films and kung fu and all this crazy old shit, and obviously that doesn't all come through in this movie. It comes through more than does in Reservoir Dogs, but he hasn't reached Kill Bill yet, where he's making a full-on kung fu action crazy movie.
Always forget about the Kill Bill movies.
I love Kill Bill, both of them.
Forget about them.
I think they're both great.
Yeah. They feel the most different of his.
You haven't seen Death Proof. It's bad.
So don't see it.
It's not a good movie.
Gotcha.
I don't like it. People like it. Our friend Patrick told me to watch it. I borrowed it from him and I didn't like it.
I have one friend, okay, and I won't say his name.
Garfield.
Jack.
It's Garfield.
It's Jack from Hook. It's that little boy. He grew up and my buddy.
Let's play some baseball, Jack.
My brother. What else? Sam Jackson's afro.
Yeah,
was supposed to be a big afro.
It's not an afro; it's a Jerry curl.
No, I know it was supposed to be an afro, and Sam Jackson was like, "No,
I'm not doing that."
No, he was like, "Yeah,
I like
this
that.
is better," but it was supposed to be a big '70s afro. Apparently,
I like that.
It would.
Because it still looks throwback,
Once again, I'm gonna bring up your favorite movie, Naked Gun 33 1/3.
I've never seen
it. Where O.J. Simpson comes in with the giant afro. That's what I would have thought the whole time. Where he can't walk through the door.
What do you think Travolta's
Naked
accent
Gun
is?
33 1/3 is a good movie.
No,
if anyone out there
isn't.
has not seen Naked Gun 33 1/3 with Leslie Nielsen and I don't know, O.J.
Simpson,
then you should go watch it.
Nordberg.
Today. Yeah, Nordberg. Thank you.
He's a murderer.
And then Anna Nicole Smith.
What
What?
is Travolta's accent? He's doing an accent, but it's like
Amsterdamian.
No.
Heroin. I don't know.
That might be it.
I don't know.
That might be it because he does this
is it an
kinda,
accent? No, I think he's fucked up. I think that's it. Same reason, after saying out loud about his arm being to the left, I'm like, no, he's probably just a drug addict. So I don't know what's happening most of the time. I'm doing weird shit with my limbs. That's a thing. I didn't know that till I was in
on drugs,
California, where there was really bad heroin epidemic in this certain area. And my buddy was like, yeah, watch them. I call them Muppets. And then I was watching heroin addicts walk up and down the street, and they were moving like Muppets. It was super weird. They're like, yeah, they lose control of their limbs, so they just walk weird. I'm like, strange. So, heroin.
That's a great upbeat point to make.
How come when I bring justice to a situation, when I'm not just willy-nilly silly Chris.
William Nilliam.
William Neeson. If you've not seen Naked Gun, the first one,
No.
watch that one.
They're
first.
all bad.
I don't know the second one as much. Probably good.
Police Squad.
Then 33 and a Third. Great movie.
What else you got? Got something to talk about?
From the Files of Police Squad. Oh, nope. I talked about it last episode. My note was about shooting a gun in an apartment, how incredibly noisy it would be.
Dude.
Like, when he shoots them, you're like, okay, everyone's calling the cops. That's a fucking 9mm.
Yeah.
Holy shit. And then he flips the table, and then they hang out for a little bit longer and do some more shooting. I'm
And then
like,
he's
dude,
like,
there's no
we better
way.
get out of here.
There's no way that the sirens would not have been called.
I don't know. It's the
or
90s,
heard.
I guess. I guess
I mean, I
depends
guess
on
the
the
shitty part of
neighborhood, too.
town.
Yeah.
But even still, that's an awful lot of violence. I mean,
So did you ever notice that in the
you
restaurant?
you're just not gonna talk about that?
No, it's a lot of violence. I agree.
We're not gonna call Travolta and be like, hey, what's up with that? Or Tarantino.
Hey,
whoever.
Johnny,
Hey, John Travolta. Hey, what's up with the violence?
you're bald now.
Can I just say, it was so weird when he decided to shave his head. Why on earth?
Because he was always bald and just had weird wigs, and like finally was like,
Has he
it's a thing.
Has he always worn a wig?
I mean, for decades,
Oh, like,
for like 25 years.
So
he's
you're telling me
worn weird wigs.
Swordfish was a wig?
Swordfish looks like he's wearing the Pulp Fiction wig,
No,
the Uma Thurman Pulp
First
Fiction
off,
wig.
Okay, brilliant transition. I want to see that dance sequence when they're wearing each other's wig. Is what I wrote down. It would be so much. They're kind of doing the same dance. Watch it again. It's not very different.
No, they're doing the twist. Of course, it's the same.
No, they're doing the same thing. But then I was thinking, how much better would that scene be with Vincent and Jules doing that?
I like that.
I just want someone put his face on Uma's body.
So on my honeymoon, I went to a burger joint in Detroit that was called Royale with Cheese.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Oh,
It's very Pulp Fiction themed.
how do you know that?
Because they actually had like
Because of the name.
paintings on the walls, and they had like Vincent and Jules if they were like cartoon ducks. Like it was pretty good. I think you would have liked it.
Why?
I don't know.
Why ducks?
It kind of looked like DuckTales ish. I think.
That wasn't.
I'll find some pictures.
That was just more description, but not making sense.
I don't know.
of
They
it.
just did it. Fuck
Oh.
you. How about that?
Well, I'm taken aback.
So did you ever notice before that Buddy Holly was Steve Buscemi?
I knew.
I didn't know.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know
You're
that.
stupid.
I'm stupid.
Stupid idiot, man.
Man, I'm like Joseph, thinking I fucking
balance that
that plow.
that canoe. What the fuck he was doing? Do you think that in the Mediterranean they even knew what a canoe was? If you said, "Hey, carpenter, build me a canoe," they'd be like, "Well, I better look in the book. That doesn't exist. I better look at my scrolls to see if the Bible says anything about a canoe."
A carpenter wouldn't have built a boat. You would have
Why?
gone to a specific boat builder.
Really, carpenter can't build a boat?
And most of them, bunch of cucks,
What,
can't even build a boat.
what about Jesus' better dad, God?
Well,
He could have built one.
and then why'd he make fucking Noah build one?
He'd have his boy Noah build one.
Yeah, that's right.
See, that's the problem. Every time you go to your carpenter to build a canoe, you get an ark. It's way too big, way too much money.
Hey, could you give me just like a
What
canoe? Yeah. How much space you need? Two
two-
of every animal, or no? How many cubits? No, just a canoe.
That's the problem. You never know what size ark.
Nah, he wants cubits.
I need a 2-man ark.
So I never noticed before, and I don't know if you noticed, but like the whole like Mia overdose is caused because Eric Stoltz is out of balloons for the heroin, so he puts it in a baggie.
Yeah,
I never thought about that. Like I never caught it. I thought that was really interesting that it's like she pulls it out, it's in a baggie, must be coke. I'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it's interesting. Well, you know what? I take back. I'm thinking of Wonderland. They put it in a balloon too. I was gonna say I think that's.
I think heroin goes in a balloon.
I think sometimes it happens. Well, no.
I think that was a '90s thing.
No, I mean, well, when I got heroin, it was always in baggies or foil. So.
Well, no, I think it was like a '90s thing where like people would smuggle heroin and they would put it in a balloon, tie it off,
I
shove it
guess
up
if
their
you're
ass.
buying that much of it, yeah. It
So I
goes
think
in a
that
balloon.
became a thing where it was like heroin goes in a balloon.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Whereas like Coke, you'd see wrapped up in Saran wrap and like a fucking looked like a thing of flour.
That's why people always get upset when you pop balloons in the house. They're like, my heroin!
Ah.
Get it here.
Or if it's like full of confetti.
What's the difference?
You tell me.
I'm not following you here.
What I'm saying is you popped a balloon full of confetti on a very famous person's bed.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Fucker. Fucking asshole. Go on. I don't have as many notes as you. I'm gonna have to ride your coattail.
I also never like put together because of the
Lust.
out of like sequence nature of the story. I never really put together that it's like for Vincent Vega, it's like 3 fucking days.
Oh yeah.
All that shit just happens back to back to back.
It's like the Hulk and Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And Ultron and Endgame.
Okay.
It's all 1 week.
None of those are movies told out of sequence.
Hmm?
They're all in sequence.
No, you're talking about the
Chronological.
time about how all that happened to him that
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah,
That's what I'm comparing it to.
Yeah. I agree. That did all happen really fast. You're right.
I was right twice.
But I just
want,
thought like,
write that in your notes.
dude, that's a fucking crazy couple of days for Vincent Vega that ends in him getting shot right after he gets off the toilet.
Well, he didn't know.
Well, he's dead now.
Well, I mean, was he taking a shit or was he shooting?
Of course
up?
he was. He had his
Or was he
fucking
shooting
book.
up?
No, he had his book, which we saw him reading while he took a shit at the restaurant.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so he's taking a shit.
You know why? Because when you always have to take a shit on heroin. That's the
okay.
thing. I was going to say like, why is he always taking a shit? But that's the thing.
I'm talking about
You're
it
always
too.
constipated.
So I think this movie.
I like that he carries his book around
Yeah,
that he reads
yeah.
when he's
I like
on the
that too.
shitter.
He's like, I might
never
kill a
thought-
guy, but
I
I'm
never-
gonna read some chapters.
I never noticed that.
So I feel like this movie isn't like a direct descendant of Rashomon, but I think in the same way of like Palm Springs, it has like it could be like a modern version for this like different perspective thing. So like Rashomon did a thing that was different than movies had done in the past. So it's like, oh, we'll take one story and we'll tell it from 4 different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
So Pulp Fiction says, okay, we're going to take all these sort of intermingling stories that kind of cross over and then like, branch off and do their own things, but we're going to tell it out of sequence to tell this different story. So like, even though there aren't 4 different perspectives,
Still got the view.
it's a lot about perspective.
Yeah.
In the way that we see different people's stories, but also in the way that it's told, because the perspective is like, we still have a happy ending,
For Butch.
No, for Jules and Vincent, they have a happy ending, even though Vincent gets murdered. Like that's what's so cool about it, because like, it does something just as interesting and innovative as like the different perspectives.
The only one that dies is Vincent, and the only one that gets raped is Marcellus.
Yeah. And
so
if this story is told in chronological order, it's not nearly as interesting.
No.
And Vincent, just dies in like this kind of pathetic way. But the way that we see it, the way that it's cut together, he has his happy ending. He's with Jules. They have the robbery in the diner, and then they walk out and just go on their way. And he has this like hope of like, a future and a life. And even though he's going to like get murdered like the next day or the day after, whatever it is, like,
well, it's inevitable that everyone does. So yeah,
right.
The focus point is on that one particular moment
right.
where he did it did succeed. It did work out.
Right, exactly. So it's
hopeful.
Even though we know, we've already seen his death, and it happens within like that same week. Even though we've seen his death, we know, and it's still like this hopeful, happy ending for our 2 main guys, which I think at the heart of it are Jules and Vincent. I think those are the two main characters.
Which is kind of funny, where you see Vincent's death, and then at the end of this, or when this outcome is working itself to its peak, you're like, you don't know what's going to happen to all these characters, even though you know what happens to Vincent, so you know they have to be able to get out of it some way, shape, or form.
So
I'm sorry, you know, because they're at the bar earlier, so yeah. Like, this works out, so why was there still intrigue?
Yep. So in the same way that the opening scene doesn't work if it's chronological, the whole story, the whole message of it falls apart too.
Because it is such a misdirect in the beginning, we know not to trust the storyteller, not to trust the director, so there could be another monkey wrench thrown out there. So that's why that's why there is such intrigue, is that you're like, I don't know how this might work out. We don't know if there's some supernatural element that he might throw at us, whatever.
Yeah, that's fair. I get that. But I think that's like, I think this whole like, I think it can't be overstated how like revolutionary this movie was for the way that stories are told and the way that like movies are edited, you know? Because like it was unheard of.
It's not just a soundtrack like your buddy Forrest.
But I do love this fucking soundtrack, you know? But like,
but no, I'm saying it's not playing off nostalgia.
Right,
like
exactly.
Forrest Gump did.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. That's like a fucking boomer jerk off fantasy. But like, I don't know, man. I think like I almost like regret doing this as part of anything else, because this feels like it could be its own keystone, because it created that like misdirect, like that out of sequence narrative with like multiple different stories diverging and like coming together. Like, I think this could almost be its own season with Pulp Fiction, but like, you know, I don't want to do it again, because that would
absolutely. You know. And you know, we can still review Go with Tay Diggs, if that's what you're worried about.
Is Go similar to Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the low-budget Pulp Fiction.
See, I didn't know that. I've never seen Go.
Well, Tay Diggs is in it.
Who? Wait, from Basic.
Tay, yeah.
From Basic, sure.
If you that only works for Tay Diggs. You could never say, "Oh, my buddy Tay." Everyone would be like, "That's not okay." You gonna finish the sentence? You done talking? Tay what?
Diggs.
Diggs. No, you'd say, that's not right. That's not right at all.
You'd say, that's not a knife.
This was supposed to be right days ago, but it's not.
My plow was meant to be ready 3 days ago, but it's not even ready today. 3 days after it was meant to be ready initially. It's not ready at all today.
Tay Diggs.
It's not ready at all, Tay Diggs.
All right, let's do the...
you want to do some tropes?
Yeah.
Let's do them then.
All right, I'm going to start.
As I said before, your tropes aren't ready at all.
All right, I'm going to go first. Maybe.
4 sides to the story.
No, Zach.
No. We don't have any like different like perspective stories, really.
We did mention my favorite line in this movie. Oh, I shot Marvin in the face.
Oh.
By far the best line. He says it so nonchalant. Oh, shit, shot Marvin in the face.
I think you're right. about like Vincent Vega was gonna
fuck up.
He was gonna fuck up enough that Marcellus killed him.
That was such a bad fuck up that literally Jules is shitting his pants. He's gonna call the wolf. They're like unexpected. Like, this is the emergency
wolf.
dude. Probably
who's at a party in a tuxedo at 8 in the morning.
Like the burger.
What breakfast is he at?
He's a big Kahuna burger. It's a grand opening for their breakfast sandwich.
The burger.
Yeah. So let's just say that you get once a year for the wolf kind of thing. Like, it's very limited.
Like,
thing.
he's a big.
So
a big
he had
deal.
to call him because of
Vincent's fuck up. Yeah.
So,
No, I think you're right about that. Number 2, tragedy.
I mean, Vincent.
I said yes.
Sad. I think I'm gonna count her ODing because technically she was dead.
I said yes. I forget why. Somebody at one
the dad with the watch up his ass.
No, somebody at one point in the movie said, "This is a tragedy," and I was like, "All right, tragedy." Okay. I was like, "Yes, okay." Well, he said the word. Telling story to pass the time. No. What did you say?
No.
No.
At no point.
Christopher Walken, maybe.
You know what? I'm gonna give it because of the date that Mia and Vincent go on, where they're just that awkward silence. I'm gonna give it that joke when they talk about the bullshit because it was an awkward date.
Okay.
I know that's really stretching it, but I'm gonna give it to it.
Okay.
Because it kind of doesn't matter.
Number 4. Your favorite.
Fuck's a kid.
Pappas. I swear to God, if you don't say that Vincent Vega is a fucking Pappas, you're out of your mind.
I'm just making sure.
Also, Honey Bunny is a Pappas.
Please would be nice. Like he's such an asshole. Oh, that's the other one. That's
Such
the other
a
one.
pouty little bitch.
Is that he almost fucks it up with the wolf?
Yeah,
that's the other one.
He mouths off to the wolf. Like, how do you do that to Winston Wolf when fucking Tarantino's in there dropping N-bombs every 2 seconds?
Okay,
Fuck.
I can't believe we didn't talk about that.
Fuck.
We got to just say, what is the infatuation with? Like, why? Why
he
do
likes
you
being
need
a white guy who can say that word?
But he
like,
can't.
that's what he likes.
He can't. All we're thinking is, dude, stop doing.
In
this.
1994, it was like, all right,
Like,
I guess.
it's just like, all right,
Yeah.
we got it. And even in Django Unchained has the N-word drop more than any other movie in history. And you're like, hey, we know what you're doing.
Yep.
Why are you doing this?
Please stop.
Apparently,
Tarantino.
DiCaprio had a huge problem with it, and then Sam Jackson pulled him aside one day and said, "Hey, this is just a job. Just do your job." And, he actually promoted
It's
"Hey,
fine,
go
dude.
ahead
It's
and do
fine,
it.
dude.
It's fine.
Just do
We're just working."
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oof. Anyway.
Yeah, that's not
Pappas.
Jesus Christ, dude. You don't have to keep doing it. If we get it, we get it. It's like it causes controversy.
Yeah, that's all right. Although one of my favorite things in Django is Tarantino plays that Australian guy.
Yeah. But we couldn't do an accent. That's the only accent he could do is Australian, so that's why they're from Australia.
That's my biggest qualm with it is bro, no, you can't. You can't do an Australian accent.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Accident.
But okay, here's the thing: if any movie is gonna have the gratuitous N-word drop, I mean, obviously in Django you're gonna get it because of the time.
Yeah.
But I think Pulp Fiction should have been the only one where he said it, because you're like, oh, it's that one movie where he drops it because that guy was a piece of shit. If you keep doing it every movie, then it's just, you just
like
it.
to say
Yeah.
this.
I think
you just like to say racial slurs.
I think this whole thing would have been okay if it was only him saying it in this movie. When he moves on and says it in others,
yeah,
I think he might say it in Dusk Till Dawn. You're like,
yeah,
you're
maybe
like,
I
right,
haven't
dude,
seen that in years either.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, that's a co-direct.
Yeah, anywho.
Secretly.
Anyhow.
Number 5, Unsolved Mysteries like the TV show. No, there's no real mystery. Although, you know what?
The briefcase.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna check it off. I just remember the briefcase. Yeah, you're right. 6, Ghost Husband, Dead Man's Perspective.
The father.
Well,
That's
the
just a
father,
story.
but also Vincent Vega.
Yes, he is dead.
He's dead, and then we see him at the end again. Even though it's the past, I said yes.
Because there's 2, I'll count it.
Yeah.
All right.
7, Infidelity, almost, but no.
I wouldn't count it.
Because
they never crossed the line.
Although Tony Rocky Horror might have gave her a foot massage. You never
once
know.
again, we don't know for sure.
You never know.
Here's the thing. When Vincent's telling the story and she's like, that's absurd, and he goes, well, at the time it's unbelievable. I was listening to it. I'm like, it seems believable the way Jules is telling the story. I would have bought in. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
totally.
Because you don't know. Marcellus Wallace is meant to be this scary figure, this guy who you should be afraid of.
And here's the thing. Absolutely, would a man murder another man for rubbing his wife's feet? 100% that would happen.
Yeah.
So, it's not that far-fetched. She plays it down almost like she's in denial, and it did happen.
But she also plays it down in the way of Marcellus isn't like that. You know he's not. Why? How would I know that? Why would I know that? Why would I think that Marcellus isn't?
She gets dismissive and angry at it as if she's in denial.
Yeah,
that it happened.
a little bit. I agree.
So I think it happened. And also, how she knows what she's doing because she doesn't tell Vincent to leave. She wants him to stay. They're dancing in the home. The intentions
she's
were
having
there.
fun.
Intentions were there. It would have happened.
They were
had she not made a
flirty.
deed.
Absolutely. If she had no deed, infidelity would have occurred. Number 8, Tall Tale. You know what? I said no, but I'm going to check it from what we just talked about. The Tall Tale is Jules telling Vincent about what Marcellus did to Tony Rocky Horror. That's a tall tale, you know?
Yes. And also there's other deceit in the movie. But Bruce Willis in the whole fight.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's not. Yeah.
So I say yes.
All right.
And our last one, Just a Small Town Girl. No, they're not really on a journey. I say no.
No.
So I got 5
That's
out of
still-
9.
Yeah, still, I got 6 out of 9.
Whoa!
Still ranked higher than I thought it was
No,
going
that's pretty good. Especially for like thinking like this isn't really a Rashomon movie, but like it kind of is. But it's so borderline.
It kind of balanced out.
Wow.
Really, you're not going to do it.
No.
You've done it 50 times
No.
this episode, and you're not going to touch the word balance. Well, thank God you
This
guys all...
plow isn't balanced at all.
If
you said it'd be ready and balanced 3 days ago.
If you stayed with us in this episode, thank you so much. Sorry we fucking played that shit. It was great. I don't give a fuck.
I'm happy
I think it was worth it.
I'm happy we played it.
Okay. So that's the end of our in-between season.
We're done with our little mini series.
So next season, we're actually kind of having a discussion right now. I think we know what we're gonna do, but we're gonna leave it as a mystery.
yeah, we're between 2 topics, and I think we know what we're gonna do, but we have to figure it out yet. So we're not letting anyone know. Not even the listeners. Come on, guys.
I'm gonna let them know.
Hey.
One might be for all you ladies out there.
That's a weird way to put it. But
One
you're right.
might be for all the women in my life. All Zach.
One might
of
be
them.
for you Halloween spooksters out there. You like that?
Kind
Is that good?
Well, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
The women, they love the Halloween.
Lady
the spirit is
spooksters
there.
in the Halloween. Halloweeners and women. Hello women.
Yeah,
Wieners
okay.
like penises, not hot
No,
dogs.
not giant, not haloginers.
No.
Go on.
I thought this was fun. I thought this little mini series was fun, and I don't think we need to do it
Jesus
again.
of Nazareth miniseries.
Oh, the mini series we just did with the 5 episodes.
Joseph.
You said the podcast would be ready. It's been over an hour, and it's not even finished recording yet. You said it'd be done in an hour, and it's been over an hour.
Thanks for listening.
Well, thanks for balancing your plows with us and listening this week. Tell your friends about us, and be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts if you like what we do. You can rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us online at KeystoneCopycats.com. We're at Keystone Copycats on Instagram and Facebook, and at Keystone Copycat on Twitter. If you got something to say, you can email us at KeystoneCopycats@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 513-239-7682. Check out Sinclarity, a Dinosaur's Tale every Friday. And until next time, I'm going to be Zach, and he's going to be...
Please.
Eh.